Hi guys! I'm back with a video, but it's a completely different video to the other kinds of videos that I've done. I can't remember the last time I made a video. Oops. But here we go, I'm making a video for once. Today's video is going to be a craft video because I've given myself a bit of an accidental challenge. I've come home from Bristol. This is obviously the pink bedroom that you know and will recognise from my past videos. I've come back from uni to my family home and I've come back without any of my craft supplies. Literally nothing apart from a pair of scissors and some scraps and stuff that I'd left here. That's all I have. So I've been an idiot and come away without any of that stuff, and I haven't made a birthday card for Claire. That is kind of a disaster for someone who makes cards, because there is, there's an air of expectation when you make cards that the card you give someone is going to be a handmade card. So here we go. I'm going to try and make a card out of a very quick haul that I did. I went to Hobbycraft a couple of hours ago now, and I bought a load of brand new supplies. I spent about 20 quid on supplies. Stuff I'm hopefully going to get use out of. It's not a one-off thing that, I'm buying stuff for this one thing and I'm not going to get use out of it. I bought a pack of paper, a pack of cards, packs of various things that I will get plenty of use out of. I've probably given myself a fairly easy task in the stuff that I have bought, because I've bought a lot of pre-made stuff. I say that, I'd say that's the most pre-made thing I've bought. These are some lovely paper flowers from Hobbycraft, and they're really nice because they're the brown paper kind, and they're sort of thick cardstock quality, and they've got this lovely print on them. I don't know how well you can see that. So you've got little dotty ones, and you've got some ones with little music on them, and then some other ones with text, random bits of writing on them, and I really like those, so I'm going to get plenty of use out of those. Pretty much everything I've bought is centered around brown paper, because the card I'm going to be using, the card base is brown. It's a square brown pre-cut card, and it came with a brown envelope, so that's great. I bought some brown lettering, and this is sort of a typewriter set font kind of deal. Then the paper that I've got, I bought a pack of this back to basics, so I am literally going right back to the bare bones, the basics, stuff that I did before I had my die cut machine, before I had any of that stuff. I haven't even got my embossing heating tool or my stamps or any of that. I've left all of that at home, so that's why I've got the letter stickers, because I haven't got my stamps or anything like that, and it's so sad because I've had to buy stickers, and I'm not a huge fan of stickers, but I'm going with what I've got. These are fairly nice ones. I've never been a huge fan of the set sort of rectangular stickers. I was looking for ones that were just the letter on its own with no border, but I couldn't find any that I liked or that were a good size, so I'm having to go with these ones and hoping that they won't stick out too horrendously against the brown card. Anyway, so I've got this paper. When I first saw it, I thought it was purple and brown, and of course I've just found out that it says True Blue on the front, which should have given me a clue really. The dark blue colour, which I thought was purple, is actually a sort of royal blue colour, but I think I can probably pass it off as purple, and I'm going to try and pass it off as purple because I bought the Tim Holtz Distress ink, and this is the Dusty Concord colour. It's quite a dark purple, so I believe. I've used Tim Holtz Distress ink before, and I've used the Vintage Photo before, which is a brown, very dark brown colour, and it's brilliant. It just makes everything look vintage, and it's a brilliant effect. I love it. This is going to be a slightly different effect. It is going to distress what I use it on, but in a different way, and I really like this, so I'm looking forward to using that. And of course I've left my actual applicator at home as well, so I'm going to be applying that with a makeup cotton swab and seeing how well that goes. So that's a bit of an experiment. I've got these lovely pearls, which I'm going to stick on the centre of the flowers. So those are going to, So those are going together. And I've got the different sized ones because I wasn't sure which one would look better. So I'm experimenting a little bit, and I've got the different sizes. I've also got the different sizes because I bought this, which is, I believe this is a Hobbycraft own punch, but it's just a lovely little tiny little flower, and I'm just gonna cut them out. I think probably mostly of this paper, but I do have a bit of like down there on my shelf I've got a magazine file full of clippings of different papers that aren't, you know, ready to be thrown away, that I can use them. So I'm gonna have a little look through there and see what I can find. I'm pretty sure I've got some lilac in there before because Claire's favourite colour is purple. So whenever I've made her a birthday card before, it's always been purple themed. So that's what I've bought. And now is for the experiment time where I try and assemble it all and make something that looks vaguely like a birthday card. So this is gonna be fun. I'm sorry you guys are upside down. That's the best I can do with limited camera equipment. Again, I left that all behind, sorry. So there you have it. That is hopefully a very quick video, just a time lapse of me and my design process, because I hadn't actually designed the card really properly before I started the time lapse. So you saw me sort of coming up with ideas. I'm quite pleased with it, but I just wanted to do a quick review of all the products that I used before I finished, because obviously this was an experiment and I did use a lot of things that were brand new to me, so I kind of want to talk about those for a bit. So we'll start with the paper. The Back to Basics paper, this stuff, was actually really good. The paper quality is sort of a nice thickness. I think it says, yeah, it's 150 GSM cardstock, which is, you know, decent. It's a good thickness, and it was really useful when I was doing, so I used it for the tiny little flowers, and I found it really helpful to have thicker cardstock to do those with, because you may have seen at some point in the video I got out a little it was a strip of paper, but it was more like, it's like handmade fabric-y kind of paper. So I used this for more flowers. You can see that there. And this is very fabric-y. It's not just paper. It's designer paper, you know, it's nice stuff, but you want to use this for bigger things. I have now learned you don't want to use this for tiny little fiddly things, because there were a few moments where I was terrified I was going to pull the petals off because they're so flimsy, they're so tiny, and I had to redo one of the little pearl gems at one point because it pulled away from the fabric, and because it's fabric-y, it had lost all of its adhesiveness, which was really annoying. So that's actually the next thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about these, the pearls. They were great. The bigger ones were better than the smaller ones. The only problem I have with them, and I thought this was going to be fantastic because I've got ones that aren't adhesive, and I end up sticking little glue dots to the back of them normally, and they're fine. They're fine. They work quite well. These I thought were going to be brilliant because they're already adhesed. They're already sticky on the back. What I didn't realise is they're sort of stuck to a strip of glue, and you have to pull them away from the strip of glue. It was kind of annoying having an end of a strip on either side of the pearl. More so for the little ones than the big ones, because the big ones I sort of folded the ends underneath and stuck them down. The little ones were really fiddly, and I don't know if you saw, I had to get my little tweezers out. These I brought in my makeup kit, so improvising there, but these absolutely tiny ones are ridiculously fiddly. I started with one of those for the really tiny little flowers, but I found them just too fiddly to use, so I ended up switching to the next size down, which was those ones, and they were fine. The little adhesive tail on them was slightly annoying, but it was fine, you know, once I got to grips with them. But I've, you know, learned something by using those. They're great. But I think I'd probably recommend getting the ones that aren't adhesive and using glue dots, because the glue dots tend to be more accurate, they tend to be a bit tidier. These ones can get a little bit fiddly. So, oh, and the adhesive goes off because you're manipulating them in your fingers because they're so fiddly. But that's those. Let's talk about the flowers. The flowers, I've still got loads of these left. I'm really impressed with these, and they're a good thickness as well. The flowers are a decent thickness. The only slight annoyance about some of them is the holes in the middle aren't completely punched through. That was fine for my purposes because I was an idiot and forgot to actually buy any glues at all apart from the adhesive double-sided pads that I got. And I didn't realise that there's no Pritt stick or any kind of glue at all in this house. And I only realised that when it was too late. So that was really annoying, and I really wish I'd bought some glue. But there you are. I improvised and I just used the sticky pads for everything, which is what I will talk about next. I bought the extremely tiny ones, which again, for my purposes, was fine today because I'd forgotten glue and I had to stick them on the back of everything, and that included the really tiny little flowers that came from that. So the really tiny little flowers have one of those on the back, which actually works quite well. It sort of adds a nice little bit of texture, but I would have preferred to have just used glue or sticky dots or something like that. But there you are. No, they were great. They were just a bit fiddly. This size is just a little too small. You can see there's one there, just a little too small. And I'm going to be picking up the backing of all of these. I'm going to be finding it in this room for months just because of how it just gets everywhere. And they're so tight. Look, there's one on my chair right here. And they just get everywhere, and it's just a nightmare. So this size, a little too fiddly, but worked quite well because they're also quite flat. Next, that I will just quickly review. Absolutely fine. I didn't realise that this pulls open, and I've got really bad fingers as well, so I can't actually get it open. It's a bit stiff. So that opens like a little trapdoor. Ones I've had before have sort of slid open. So yeah, that's the only thing I'd say about that one, is it's slightly different from the other models that Hobbycraft have put out. Oh, and it's the opposite way round. So you hold it like that and punch it in there, whereas other ones, if you held them like that, which gives you better leverage, and the hole is there. So there you are. Tim Holtz Distress Ink, brilliant. I've never had any problems with Distress Ink. Using one of these, however, instead of a makeup wipe, one of these, just because it gave me a slightly more precise application, but there are some blotchy bits which I wasn't that pleased with in the end result, but it looks fine. I wouldn't recommend using a cotton swab to apply the Distress Ink, but the Distress Ink itself is great. I love the colour, it works perfectly with my theme. And then the last thing, really, are these stickers. These, unexpectedly brilliant. Normally with stickers, I find that they can be quite flimsy and a little bit too staticky, so they end up sort of trying to attach themselves before you're ready to stick them down properly, which you didn't really get so much with these ones. And even if you did, they are slightly repositionable. I don't know if that's intentional, but the glue on this doesn't set straight away. I was able to get a really precise positioning on these before pressing them down firmly. The other thing about them, as I say, that normally stickers are really flimsy, but these ones are beautifully firm. Like they're proper cardstock stickers, which I was surprised about. I wasn't expecting them to be like that at all. But again, it allowed me to get this really precise application because they weren't flapping all over the place or trying to stick down before I was ready. I was holding on to them and they were firm and I could stick them down where I wanted them, and it was brilliant. I highly recommend these. And actually, I've realised that they added quite a nice bit of texture to the happy birthday bit. And I like that because before, when I've just used embossing powder or stamps, it tends to be quite 2D. Even the embossing powder, it doesn't quite have the depth that I've wanted. If I was to do what I did with this, with the embossing, I'd have probably just done the embossing straight onto the card. Because I had the stickers, I wanted a slightly neater edge on them, so I stuck them onto card first, and that allowed me to play with my positioning of where I wanted it on the card and play with the positioning of everything else. And I've realised that that's a really nice technique for me to use in the future, to stamp on something first and then manipulate that as I will, rather than going straight onto the card, which can be a bit 2D. So I've learned a lot by making this card with limited resources, limited time. Yeah, it's been a learning experience and I'm quite pleased that I've sort of given myself that, and I think I might do this a bit more often actually, because it has been a learning experience for me and hopefully for you as well. And yeah, thank you for joining me, and hopefully you'll see me soon. I'm planning to vlog every day in April because that is my birth month, but very exciting, I am going to be competing with Pitch Fight in the annual Voice Fest UK competition for a cappella. So Pitch Fight is a all-girls a cappella group, and yeah, we're going to be performing at Voice Fest. That's going to be really fun and exciting, and I hope you'll join me for that because I will be vlogging for that. And yeah, so hopefully some other exciting stuff is going to happen in April. I'm going to update you on my life. Lots of things have happened, so update you on everything and just, yeah, show you where I'm up to with uni and stuff. So please do join me for that. And thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in April. Bye! Two last quick things that I completely forgot to mention. So I just sealed the card, just sealed the envelope, and I've had to stick it down with sticky tape because one, I don't have any glue, as previously mentioned, and the other thing is that licking it and sealing it wasn't enough. The glue on the actual envelope is not good enough. So that's just one little thing to say about the cards that I bought. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I have an Etsy shop that I've completely forgotten to talk about on this channel. So yeah, I have an Etsy shop now. I make cards, I make Fimo models, I also draw Gallifreyan, so custom Gallifreyan artwork. If you want something written in Gallifreyan, sort of phrase or your name, as simple or as complicated as you like, I can do it, and it might just take a while, but it's really good fun. I love it. I've only done one before. I've done lots of Gallifreyan before, but I've only done one of the kind that I sell before. So please give me more to do because it's good practice and I love doing them. And yeah, I hope you like them. Please do go and visit. I will put the link to my Etsy shop in the doobly-doo thing, the down bar, the whatever is down here. And yeah, I'm done now. Bye.
That was easy.